Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Let's Talk English. I'm your host, Emma, and today we're diving into a fun and important topic, English at school.
Hi, Emma. Hi, everyone. I'm Tom, and I'm super excited about today's topic because English was my favorite subject in school, though it wasn't always easy.
Oh, really? That's good to hear. Many students find English challenging, especially when it's not their first language. So, let's start from the beginning. Tom, what was English like at your school?
Well, when I was younger, English felt like a mystery. I could memorize words, but I didn't really use them. In class, we mostly focused on grammar, spelling, and reading comprehension. But I think the hardest part for me was speaking English confidently.
That's a very common challenge. Many students can read and write well, but when it's time to speak, they freeze. Did your teachers encourage speaking practice?
Sometimes, yes, we had English speaking days once a week. On those days, we were only allowed to speak English, even during break time. At first, everyone was shy, but after a few weeks, we started to get used to it.
That's a brilliant idea. Immersion helps so much. At my school, we also use role plays and group projects. Students act out real-life situations, like ordering food, doing interviews, or making presentations. It's a fun way to learn.
Exactly. I remember doing a project where we had to make a short play in English. I played the role of a tour guide in London, and my classmates were tourists. I had to research places like Big Ben, Buckingham Palace, and the London Eye. I learned a lot of new vocabulary that way.
That's fantastic. So you were learning English and culture at the same time. That's one of the best ways to understand how a language works.
Totally agree. But Emma, what do you think are the biggest mistakes students make when learning English at school?
Good question. I think one big mistake is focusing too much on perfection. Many students worry about making mistakes, but mistakes are part of learning. You can't improve if you never try to speak.
Yes. I used to be afraid of speaking because I didn't want to sound wrong. But then one teacher told me, Tom, even native speakers make mistakes. That really changed my attitude.
Exactly. Another mistake is not practicing outside the classroom. Learning doesn't stop when the bell rings. Students should listen to English songs, watch English movies with subtitles, or even keep a daily English journal.
That's great advice. I actually started watching cartoons in English when I was a kid, like Peppa Pig and SpongeBob SquarePants. It helped me with pronunciation and listening.
That's so true. I know so many students who improve their English just by watching fun shows. Cartoons are great because the language is simple and clear.
And nowadays we have so many resources, YouTube videos, English podcasts, online courses. It's much easier to practice than before.
Absolutely. Technology has changed the way we learn languages. At my school, we even use English learning apps during class. Students compete in vocabulary games, and it makes learning interactive.
That sounds fun. If I had that when I was in school, maybe I'd have learned faster.
Maybe, but it's never too late to learn. Even adults can continue improving their English. The key is consistency, a little bit every day.
So true. But let's talk about teachers for a moment. What do you think makes a good English teacher at school?
Good question. A good English teacher should be patient, creative, and passionate. Teaching a language isn't just about grammar rules. It's about communication and confidence.
Yes. I had one teacher who made learning English really fun. She used music, games, and even acted out scenes from movies. We laughed a lot, but we also learned so much.
That's the magic of good teaching. When students enjoy learning, they remember things better. English should be alive, not just words in a textbook.
Exactly. And speaking of textbooks, do you think schools should still use them?
I think textbooks are useful for structure. They help students follow a curriculum, but we shouldn't only depend on them. Real-life communication, creativity, and critical thinking should also be part of English learning.
I agree. Textbooks teach us the basics, but real-life practice makes us fluent.
Well said. So, for our listeners who are students, what advice would you give them to improve their English at school?
Let's see. My first tip is don't be afraid to speak. Even if you make mistakes, just talk. My second tip, find a study partner, practice together, and correct each other. And third, have fun with English. Read jokes, listen to songs, or follow English YouTubers.
Excellent tips! I'd also add set small goals. For example, learn 5 new words every day or write 1 English paragraph before bed. Over time, those small steps make a big difference.
I love that. Learning English isn't a race, it's a journey.
Beautifully said, Tom. Well, I think that's a great note to end on.
Yes. So to everyone listening, whether you're a student, teacher, or a parent, remember, English at school is just the beginning. Keep practicing, stay curious, and never stop learning.
Exactly. Thanks for joining us today on Let's Talk English. Don't forget to subscribe and share this podcast with your friends. See you next time.
Bye, everyone.